Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. It is Friday. It is Friday and it is Monday for real estate agents. So don't you dare try to go on vacation, or don't you dare try to take the weekend off. It's time to work. It's time to work, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to touch a little bit on a conversation that I actually had yesterday regarding what business are we in as real estate agents. And that was a great question. And I have the answer for you. The answer is we are in the business of communication and information. And that is something that, I always share with my agents in my company. We have to learn how to speak to people, how to talk to people, right? Number two, we have to learn the information, right? Because only then do we become valuable, right? Communication, the customer is going to read if they like you or not like you based on what you're saying. And information is also relates back to, are they going to like what you're saying or not? There's two differences. One is them liking your product. Two is them liking the sales price or whatever process, you want to take them through. So we are in the business of communication and information. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to each one of these two sections, and I want to dive a little bit deep into that. So let's talk about communication. Communication. What are some of the important factors in communication? Well, for starters, we have to learn that our tone is the most important thing in a communication or in a conversation, right? You have to learn that many times we are not having maybe potentially the best day. Therefore, we take our bad luggage, right, to our next call or to our next appointment. And you and I both know we can feed that energy. As human beings, you and I both know we can feed that energy, right? That bad energy. So therefore, it relates into the way you're feeling mentally, physically. It relates in your tonality, right? It's just human nature. It's just the way it works. So you have to work on, number one, learning how to how to keep your tonality in check, in line. And what do I mean by that? I mean that in conversation, the conversation can be a flat road, right? It gets boring, right? Going like, let's say from here to Arizona on the freeway, right? It's flat road. It gets boring after a while. It gets exciting when it's a roller coaster. It's up, down, turns, left, right? Customers are intrigued, right? The rider on the roller coaster is intrigued, right? So therefore, it's exciting for them. So as you're going through this communication or this conversation, right, you have to understand that a customer is reading you just as much as you're reading them, right? So think about that. Tonality is the number one thing in communication, right? Now, if it's over the phone, there is no body language. So it's all just tonality, what comes out of your mouth, right? Then kicks in the information, right? Okay, well, I like what this person is saying. Let me hear him out, right? Now, boom. Now you got your information, because now you've created what I like to call a hook, right? You got the customer interested, which is fantastic. So in information could be so many different factors. A lot of the times when, in my case, or in my agents that I train at 8 a.m., it's a listing training team. We are speaking to sellers, and our objective is to set an appointment, get the contract signed, put the home on the market, and get it sold. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Especially through the phone. You have to understand that you have to win every step of that conversation in order to get a yes at the end of that conversation. Now, information. For a seller, it's real simple. It's sales price and commission and what process, advertisement or whatever, right? Sometimes. Most important thing is always the sales price, because that's 94% of the sales price. And 6% is your commission. And then 3 is, what are you going to do, right? What's your advertising look like? What's your process looking like? And speaking to a seller, mandatory, you have to learn how to pre-qualify. Especially my new agents, they get nervous. They don't want to ask too many questions, because they feel that if they ask too many questions, the fish is going to get off the hook and it's gone. And if you had confidence and if you knew the question that you were asking and why you were asking, you can relate that information to your customer and let them know, listen, the reason I'm asking these questions is because I've gone through this process before and this potentially can happen, right? So pre-qualification is number one. In that prequel, right, that conversation, whether it be on the phone or face-to-face, the next stage is a little presentation. What does that mean? Well, think about this. Think about 3 different realtors calling the seller, and you guys are all saying the exact same thing. Whether it be because you guys are using the exact same script, or whether it be because, as a real estate agent, we're pretty much only a certain number of things that we can do to get a home sold, right? But if you don't stand out in that pre-qualification, right, in that conversation over the phone, meaning you have to drop, I like to call this a little bit of fairy dust, right? Meaning if the customer is saying, well, I want to sell the home, but I'm not sure. Well, why not? Right? You got to dive in deep. Why not? And you got to decipher that. Why not? You got to ask as many questions regarding that. Why not? So that then you can give them a little presentation regarding what it is they're saying, the reason they're not wanting to put their home on the market or whatever the case is. So that way they understand, hey, listen, I got all the bases covered for us, right? I always give the customer options and solutions. 2 or 3. 2 or 3 to every concern that they have. I give them 2 or 3 concern handlers or options or solutions, I like to call them. You have to learn number one, what is the problem? What problem are they having? What is the brick wall? What is stopping them? Decipher that, ask more questions regarding that, and then come to a conclusion of these next 2 or 3 options I'm going to give you, I know are the best options for you as a seller. So this is how we get to move to the 3rd stage in the pre-qualification, right? Which is the closing, setting up the appointment. So if you don't follow these steps, pre-qualify, ask a lot of questions, give them a presentation regarding, whether what you're going to talk about when you meet, or whether, the sales price, whether I'm not sure if I want to sell or not. You got to give them a presentation, right? Then we want to go to the closing and ask for the signature. Those are the most important steps, especially when you're pre-qualifying a customer, that you have to follow. Right? There's no ifs or whats about it. If you want to close deals at a high ratio, right, you have to learn that there's a process to the pre-qualification. There's a process to the next step, which is the presentation, because at the pre-qual, you asked a lot of questions, you give them a presentation regarding whatever concerns they have, you close for the appointment, they said, yes, we'll meet with you because we're intrigued, we're interested in what you have to say. Then the next stage is presentation, meet them face to face. When you meet them face to face, it's also a 3-step process. You got to pre-qualify the question that you asked over the phone just to make sure nothing has changed. Then we have to go into our presentation, which is the CMA and etc., your comparables. And then we have to go into the sign the contract, right? The issue is this. You don't know when to ask for the signature. For me, as an experienced broker and as an experienced real estate agent, experienced listing agent, I always want to hear that. Yes, that makes sense, right? Does that make sense, customer? Yes. Fantastic, right? Does that make sense? Yes. Fantastic. Does that make sense? Yes. 2 or 3 yeses at the end of the presentation, right? We're going to ask for the signature. It's only logical for you to now sign my contract because everything makes sense, right? The closing should be a smooth closing. It should not be a closing where it feels awkward and it feels weird, where you're like, hey, I don't even know if I should ask them. Your presentation is tailored. If you're following a canned presentation, which is a script presentation, it has a smooth closing to it because you've answered 99% of the questions or concerns any seller is going to have. So start with that. That's going to help you get through this business, get through this transactions, get through closing, and get you moving on with your career in the business of real estate. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the greatest. I mean, for me personally, I was born to do this, right? But I also have to understand that I made a lot of mistakes to get to this point. And I like to share all these mistakes so that you, the new real estate agent, doesn't make the same mistakes, right? Because these mistakes can be costly and can be literally mind-blowing, right? Where you're just like, you're done. You don't want to do this anymore. So that's what I have for you guys today, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday once again. I hope you are taking some notes. I hope that that I can help you moving forward with your objections or your concerns that your customers are giving you guys. We train these every single day in my company. I've been doing this for about 12 years now. And it is something that has become a vital tool in teaching new agents and getting them to start making money faster than they would on their own, like I did. So anyways, you guys have yourself a great day. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and peace out.
I was a bat out of hell. One look at me, you think that I was destined to fail. 16 with the homies, ended up in a cell. And my crimes got much bigger on a different scale. Used to run around the hood, throwing my name up. Now they can't tame me and can't smoke enough. Man, this shit getting old, must be growing up. Any lesson life was teaching, I was showing up. You know I gotta thank my mama for her holding us down. 4 kids, she a soldier, nothing breaking her down. Welfare, food stamps, send toast to the ground. She the reason why we get it, how we getting it now. And thank God for my big bro Lorenzo, yo. Put some clothes on our backs when our funds got low. Yeah, I really came from nothing, I stay humble, bro. Grind hard and I hustle, that's the life I know. Yeah, so many things done changed. Deep rooted with my brothers, they gon' know our name. Told Ricardo, ain't no felon, we gon' kill this game. And if we take a couple losses, we gon' build on pain. See, whatever didn't break us, that's what's making us now. 17 became a father, had a reason to smile. You go hard or go broke, you can't live in denial. I chose one, went dumb and started winning in style. Fast forward 10 years, selling cribs to the people. 5 companies deep, hardest working Latinos. All muscle boy like a 6'5" El Camino. We the Ponce brothers, reppin' San Bernardino. Yeah, we do this for familia. You know, behind every great man is a great woman holding us down. Yeah. And our seeds are the next generation. And we teach them everything we know so that they may build on what we built until they all the way up.